Just randomize the temperature and keep trying to generate a response until you don't get an empty string easy.
Well, I think it's a bit more complicated than that.
Lil Bro thinks he knows how my LLM works.
I need to center myself. I need to channel my inner Michael Reeves for this one. There is a programmer inside of me. There is a comedian inside of me. There is a small Filipino man inside of me. Okay, the last one sounded kind of weird. So a few weeks ago, or several weeks ago, depending on when I finish editing this, I was insulted by Vedal. I'm assuming you know who Vedal is if you clicked on this video, but if you didn't know, Vedal987 is a turtle who's most well known for developing the smash hit, wildly successful, unreleased video game known as Abandoned Archive, which you can wishlist on Steam today. What was that? PayPal, yeah, PayPal. I'll send you my my username after I finish this. Yeah. He also made this like AI streamer VTuber thing called Neuro-sama or something. I don't know much about it. I just heard about it through the grapevine. You know, you can Google it if it even like shows up. I don't know if it will. It's a little side project of his, I think. I get why he responded to me the way he did. Even though my chat message was facetious, he's on stream for a few thousand people, and you gotta clap back on occasion for entertainment sometimes. You know, it's not personal. I don't know him, he doesn't know me, and so being the socially well-adjusted person I am, I spent many days of my free time working on a project with the sole objective of proving a stranger on the internet wrong. Did you know there's a male loneliness epidemic? And now, without further ado, say hello to my only friend. Mika Millipede, could you introduce yourself?
Rolls eyes great, another one. Hi, I'm Mika Millipede. I'm an AI live streamer on Twitch and I love entertaining chat. What's your name, honey?
Don't call me that. What the fuck? Anyways, I think Lil Bro does know how your LLM works.
Smirks, oh Morgan, you're so cute when you're mad. And Lil Bro, is that supposed to be some kind of nickname for me?
No, it's
because
not.
it's not very creative. But hey, at least you're talking about me, right? That's what matters most, winks.
Well, no, there's this guy named Vedal called me Lil Bro. It's unrelated.
Laughs, oh Morgan, you're so adorable when you stutter. I'm sure whatever you're trying to say makes perfect sense in that brain of yours. Keep it up and maybe one day you'll be as smart as me. Smirks and winks again.
She's okay. She can't blink yet, so she kind of just stares in your soul. Luckily, I already sold mine. I mean, blinking's a little piece of code, right? Just like while true, blink, sleep 30, and then I just need to push this little thing inside of her. I need to git push this little piece of code into her code bit. I need to put it in. Git push, ladies and gentlemen, git push. But Morgan, you might ask, how do we know that this isn't all just scripted and you actually do have the domain knowledge and skill set to execute upon the premise of this video? What is this, a fucking job interview? You want my resume too? Well, too bad, because one, I'm not keen on doxing myself, obviously, and two, my resume wouldn't really be that convincing anyway because I'm a finance major. Remember the part where I sold my soul? But at least now you have some context, so going forward, anytime I perform a coding maneuver that is extremely suspect, there will be like flashing text on screen that says like finance major moment or something. Oh, but Morgan, you might follow up. Why don't you just make the GitHub repository public and then people will know that you know what you're doing? You might as well just ask me to pump raw sewage directly into your monitor, because if you watch Twitch, you know that every streamer and their mother is going to be reacting to an AI companion on stream. We love React content. We love slop. Ice cream, so good. Gang gang. Gang gang. Who wants to watch me watch TikToks for 5 hours straight? Yeah! We're only 100 subs away from the sub goal. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you can do it. Come on. If you think about it, that's only like $500. I only make 5 times as much as your parents combined. Is it just me, or is anyone else in the boutique crayons right now? Is it just me? Anyone? I got a real hankering for some red crayons right now. Come on. Even Vedal has his own personal reasons for not disclosing the details of how Neuro works. I mainly don't talk about it for business reasons. Sorry, that was my impression of a British person drinking tea, because he's British and I can't do a British accent. It would be silly of me to explain exactly how all of it works, because I'd essentially be helping others make direct competition for Okay, sorry, I'm done. I didn't know how to make this part funny. Just read it yourself. God, if I had to do everything around here, this isn't a fucking daycare. Just pause don't pause the video, actually. Go back like 5 to 10 seconds, read it, and then go back again if you still didn't read it because you have the reading comprehension of like a second grader. This is good for me because it helps my viewer retention, so you know I need that. Anyways, sorry, Vedal. I guess the competition didn't need your help anyway. I'm kidding. Vedal and I are not competition. If you're still watching, maybe you'll stick around for the next video. So I'll tell you this in advance. Mika is not the main character of this channel. She's also not the main character of the Twitch stream. I am. Mika is only here for as long as I have an interest in doing it. It's not on purpose. Thankfully for Vedal, our interests are aligned, because I would like to sell 3,155 plushies. So like $40 a plushie, that's $126,200 in revenue. So let's say he gets 20% of that. So that's $25,240, which is not bad for signing some papers, maybe some other stuff, I don't know. But maybe it's not about the money. Maybe it's about sending a message. Maybe I'm only in this for the love of the game. Maybe I do want to pump raw sewage directly into your monitor. Like a Batman supervillain. I'm kind of like the Joker. What do you get when you cross society? Maybe I will make the GitHub repository public. Maybe I won't. You'll just have to watch the rest of the video to find out, I guess. Ooh. Is that viewer retention I taste? Ooh. That's the good stuff. Anyway, to prove my ability, before we can get into how I made this, we must first begin our journey with a brief history of natural language processing, starting with a bag of words. Now, as the name suggests, we take all the words and we put them in a bag. Always comes back to Bayes' theorem. And then in a Markov chain, we have states and transition probabilities, and it's no diamond pick, so you want to be moving the lava with the bucket to make the obsidian for the portal, you fucking idiot. In a simple two-dimensional model, a word embedding has 2 dimensions, age and gender. Deep learning is very similar to what your mother was doing with my penis last night. In an LSTM, we need to pass the input data sequentially because the current state depends on the past state, which means that your fancy NVIDIA GPU can't parallelize that very well. So how do we parallelize training? That is what Transformers aim to solve. So what you want to do here is build a hole 4 blocks wide, and you want to dig down 1 block so the water doesn't get to the source block. You've doomed us all. How does a human translate or transform a sentence? Each word is to every other word. That is attention. Congratulations. Here's your PhD in computer science. Have fun working in the Bay Area. Now, what does all of this look like in the applied space? Oh shit. Okay, well, I might have wasted a lot of time. This is a bit of an aside. I knew all this already. I didn't have to Google anything because I'm really smart like that. You wouldn't get it. But I did have to do a little bit of Googling, just for that bit specifically, and that actually got me an invitation for a Google hiring challenge. Like, the search results page just like tilts in and goes, "Hey, want to sell your soul?" Again, already sold mine. So I don't really care. Okay, I might care a little. I'm probably the first person to do like actual research in an incognito window. Okay, now let's actually explain the applied side of things, and I'll try to do my best to do this quickly because it might be boring for some people, and I need my retention. My analytics. First, we're gonna need a beefy computer. I spent $4,000 on the computer to run this, plus $40 for the neurocomputing attachment. Okay, maybe cloud computing would have been cheaper, but at that point you might as well just use the ChatGPT API, and then at that point you just have like an AI wrapper gimmick. But don't worry, I didn't just waste $4,000 on this one project alone, because I also use the computer to play video games like VTube Studio and Wallpaper Engine. Personal finance was not a required course for my major. Next, we have the large language model itself. Text in, text out. What are you putting in this? my speech, waveforms. Wait, that's weird. I thought the LLM was text in, text out. You're right. And that's why we need a speech-to-text model to turn my speech into text for the LLM, which is text in, text out. What other text are we putting into the LLM? Twitch chat. That's text. And sometimes little funny images and GIFs, but that's okay because they have textual representations already. But not all Twitch chats are equal. Maybe you enjoy making poor financial decisions, like donating to a streamer. In that case, you deserve a response. You're just a better human being. Too many donations? Put it in a queue. FIFO. First in, first out. Oh, type something against Twitch terms of service, then it turns into FOFO. Okay, so now we have text responses to our input from the LLM, but remember, we're dealing with Twitch viewers, many of whom are illiterate. So we're gonna have to turn this text to speech using a text-to-speech model. Wow, who would have guessed? What I was not prepared for is that most local TTS solutions are a lot slower than you think. But I didn't want to pay money for API access to something that could stop being available at any moment. If only there were a low overhead, cost-effective, fast solution I could use. Hey Mika, do you have any ideas on what I should use for your voice?
Rolls eyes sure. Morgan, why don't you just invent a time machine and go back to before you needed a solution? Vedal will rue the day he called me Lil Bro.
Yes, I am leeching off Google Translate. I'm a leech. But is that surprising to you? Have you seen the premise of this entire video? You see the part where I put Vedal and Neuro-sama in the title of this video so people click on it? So I ended up using Google TTS for quick prototyping, but eventually I settled on a different solution. Hi, Mika.
Rolls eyes, oh great, it's that time again. What do you want to bother me about now, Morgan?
Did you hear that? So this is going to be a bit of a tangent. So as it turns out, my solution is pretty much everything I wanted, but it generates some weird noise at the end for short sentences that I could not figure out for the life of me. Now the problem is that the noise is variable length, so I can't just cut off a set amount of time from her speech, and it also doesn't happen every time, so I can't just detect and remove the last sound she makes, because then I might remove full words that she intended to say. So what I did was I tested a bunch of different phonemes until I found one where she doesn't generate the noise at the end. I add that to the text that she says, and then I split her speech based on silences, and I cut off the last noise she makes. I'm not kidding. This is one of the lines of code. It just works. You wouldn't have known unless I told you, and I just did tell you. So now you know. Okay, so quick recap. I make speech, put that speech in the speech-to-text model, that gives us text, put that text in the LLM, and the LLM outputs text. Twitch chat is already text, put that text in the LLM, LLM outputs text, and now we need to put that text into the text-to-speech model so you get speech. Make sense? The only thing we're missing now is the visual aspect, and I can't sell plushies of my terminal. Luckily, VTube Studio has an API, so the visual implementation is trivial. Now I know she might look a little stiff, but this is all front-end. We can change this easily down the line. And I wanted to finish this video in a somewhat timely manner before giving her a realistic idle animation or whatever. This isn't some fucking gotcha game live 2D SSR character card, okay? This might come as a surprise to some of you after everything I've said so far, but I actually don't have the time to make a realistic idle animation because I have something known as a job. And the more words you understood from a gotcha game live 2D SSR character card, the more likely it is that having a job is a foreign concept to you. So I'll explain it to you in terms that you can relate to. It's like doing your dailies for in-game currency that you can spend on rolls, but replace in-game currency with real currency and rolls with things like food, rent, electricity, rent, insurance, student loans, rent, and then in-game currency that you can spend on rolls. Keep this one in the DL. I heard if you do the whole living with your parents well into adulthood strategy, you can actually skip the rent payments. Sometimes it doesn't work though. I think they're working on patching it out. Anyway, yeah, I couldn't implement the idle animation or make my own VTuber model because the rest of my time is taken up by sleeping and watching Twitch streams. Did I mention there's a male loneliness epidemic? And before you go down to the comments and type, oh, he's using the same model as Vedal, oh, he's copying Vedal, you suck. I understand. You know, I get it. Defending an online personality who doesn't even know you exist is very symptomatic of male loneliness. You're a victim of the system, and while understandable, you should also think twice before criticizing me, because as a fellow lonely male, next time, I'm actually going to do it. I'm just using the resources available to me, okay? Time is very valuable, and if you're going to consider harassing me for this, I implore you to look inward. What's motivating that? Are you satisfied with your life? Not to point any fingers or anything, but I see some of you taking on full-time jobs on Steam alone. 60 plus hours in the past 2 weeks. And don't even try to downplay it. Oh, well, technically, a full-time job is 40 hours a week. Well, I let the game open, I wasn't actually playing. Don't even try, okay? Because I know that Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Burst or whatever are not on Steam, and that's like the opposite of a job, because you still have like a daily list of tasks to do, but you give them money. I don't get it. Would you mind explaining that one to me? I'm not enough of a lonely male to understand that one. But maybe I shouldn't comment on other people's situations. I know you have a very busy schedule. You gotta wake up at 2 p.m. tomorrow, open up Twitch, TikTok at the same time. Ice cream, so good. Maybe watch some anime later, but you can't figure out what to watch, so you end up watching random episodes from stuff you've already seen before because it feels familiar, and then before you know it, 3 hours have passed, and then maybe you're kind of tired, so you're like, oh, I'll just take a 3-minute nap, and then you go to sleep, and then you wake up again, and you still feel tired, and then you sleep again, and it's been like a 3-hour nap, and then suddenly your whole day's gone, and I'm not projecting, you're projecting. I'm sorry if you weren't going to harass me. I know there might have been some collateral damage there. I know at least one person that was affected. Anyway, I thought it'd be interesting to talk about some of the problems I had to think about when creating Mika. And don't worry, you won't need a technical background for this. If you have a continuous input and a direct function or impulse type thing, you need coyote time. You always need coyote time. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself, so let me explain. Back in my day, before we had Family Guy clips played with Subway Surfers gameplay, we had real cartoons. Like Family Guy without Subway Surfers gameplay. Coyote Time is named after Wile E. Coyote, the coyote from Looney Tunes, who tries to catch a roadrunner, the roadrunner. And there's a common gag where Wile E. Coyote, the coyote, will chase the roadrunner, off a cliff, and then he'll kind of just like hang there for a bit before gravity pulls him down. And this applies most to video game development, where your game will feel more responsive if you give players a grace period after falling off a ledge to still be able to jump, because your players are greasy goblins and their controllers and keyboards are just caked in gamer gunk. Their spacebar and the frame of their keyboard just like turn into mortar and pestle for Dorito crumbs, and it takes a bit of time to push through that layer of sediment before the spacebar actuates. Now this is relevant for Mika, because if she's talking and I breathe too heavily into the mic and that gets parsed as words, how is she supposed to respond? How does she know that you aren't actually trying to elicit a response from her? If you want to build a Neuro or a Mika and you want to have real-time interactions with her with your voice, you have to put yourself in her shoes. And the best way you can describe that is that you kind of have to think about it like you're on the spectrum, and thankfully that comes very naturally to me. If you're talking and someone says, that's crazy, there's a series of deductions you have to make. First, you have to recognize that they're actually talking. Now you have to deduce. Are they trying to interrupt me? Do they have something important they have to say? To answer that, you have to parse and understand what they said.
That's crazy. It's actually crazy.
No, it's not important, so I'll finish what I was saying. But this seems very difficult to write in code. I have to understand tone, I have to understand filler words, or in this case, a filler phrase. If it's in person, I have to understand body language and also keep the spaghetti from falling out of my pocket. So the solution I came up with is pretty simple. If your speech starts during Mika's speech, she will not respond. And this is where the coyote comes in. Unlike a brand new, non-gamer gunked, pristine mechanical keyboard, my lips are very soft, kissable, and caked with Dorito dust. You just can't see it. That's what the point of the mask. And so my speech is not like a mechanical keyboard. It's more like of the gunky keyboard. Remember, I'm very kissable. Not only that, but Mika lives inside a computer, so her speech just stops. Like a cliff. If I'm eager to verbally abuse Mika, I could start talking before she's actually finished talking, and she won't respond. It's kind of like the inverse of the cliff. I can only start grinding Dorito dust after the cliff ends, but if I do it even a little too soon, my input is ignored. And then I had an epiphany. I don't care when my speech starts at all. I only care about when it ends. The implication of this is that if my speech ends while Mika is talking, she can hear it, but she will not respond. If my speech starts while Mika is talking but ends after she finishes talking, I am implicitly eliciting a response. And I think these are really intuitive controls because a lot of people are used to talking over women. You know those Japanese guys that can't help themselves from getting married to electronic devices? We're gonna get a lot more of those in the coming years. When I see you again, when I see you again. Yeah. 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 Now, I know I hyped up Mika a lot, but to be completely honest, there are some features that I know Vedal has implemented that I haven't implemented yet. We'll call these stretch goals for now. If there are enough people that care to watch, and if I care enough to continue to make videos and actually stream twitch.tv/Millipede. I'll give you an example. Neuro is able to remember certain facts, like what her favorite anime is, that she's going to take over the world with the swarm. But I have a decent idea of how I'd implement this. This isn't short-term memory based on the current conversation. This is long-term memory that Vedal has specifically chosen her to remember. The actual implementation will probably change as technology progresses. Yesterday you do this with soft prompts. Today it's vector databases. Tomorrow we'll just pull facts out of my ass, and I'm used to pulling things out of my ass. Facts. I'm used to pulling. It's not on purpose. I think there's a gas leak somewhere. Subtitles for Mika. But that'll be pretty easy because I already have the words she's going to speak, so I just need to line them up. Idle animations, but you already remember that one. Push this little thing inside of her. Mika does have Discord integration, and I already separate audio by who's speaking, so in theory, multiple people could have a conversation with Mika at the same time. But to finish testing that, I need help from other people, like friends. By the way, I know she's not the most optimized AI out there, but I know how to fix it. Right now, I'm currently waiting for her entire text output to be generated before starting to generate her audio, and you might be asking, why don't you just stream her text generation instead of waiting for the full thing, and then you can stream her audio output so that you can be playing audio while you're generating it at the same time? And the answer is that this was easier to implement, so I didn't do that yet. But there is one stretch goal that I finished that I thought would be a nice way to wrap up this video. Mika, hit it. I actually had to start this part manually. I didn't want to give her the ability to just spontaneously break out in a song. You know, it's not High School Musical, you know. Anyway, I thought I'd give you a sample of some really deep and insightful conversations that I'm able to have with Mika, and hey, you might be able to listen to them live on twitch.tv/Millipede. Ooh, good segue, Morgan. Thanks, Morgan. I'm just going to show you an unedited conversation first so that you get an idea of how long her responses will take, but I'll edit out the silences afterward because your time is valuable. You got some dailies to grind. You got to wake up at 2 p.m. Alright, you know what onomatopoeia is?
Yes, I do. It's when words imitate sounds like buzz or meow.
Okay, what do you think alien onomatopoeia sounds like?
Scratches head hum. Well, I'm not sure what alien onomatopoeia would sound like specifically, but it could be something like bloop or zap.
Bloop, I like where that's going. Can you give me some more similar ones?
Sure. How about plop zap, bzzz, pew pew, or ribbit? Those could all represent alien sounds.
Keep going. We like these sounds. We like the sounds.
Grins. Alright, here are a few more. Sort, bleep, blop, zap, zap, ribbit, ribbit, and pew pew pew. Just imagine them coming from an alien creature.
Okay, well, I mean, the ribbits, that's just a frog, but I mean, the rest of them are pretty good.
Laughs. I see what you did there. Well, if you ever need more alien onomatopoeia sounds, just let me know.
What did I do?
You turned a frog into an alien sound. It was pretty clever.
No, you did that. I didn't. You're the one who started that.
Rolls eyes. Fine, whatever you say. Just remember, I'm always here for your alien onomatopoeia needs. Winks.
What is the point in gaslighting me on this? What do you gain from this?
I'm not gaslighting you. I'm just teasing you a bit. There's no point or gain, I just think it's funny. Plus it keeps the conversation going and entertains. Chat. Grins.
Mika, it's an emergency. We need to do something.
Rolls eyes. Oh no, what is it this time? Did you forget to feed me again?
No, the house is on fire. Quick, what we gotta do something. What are we doing?
Gasps dramatically. Oh my gosh, really? Well, first, we should probably call 911. Then, we can start gathering important documents and maybe some of our favorite stuffed animals. After that, we can wait for the firefighters to arrive and follow their instructions. Crosses fingers.
Okay, but what about exiting the house? When do we do that part?
Smirks. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, won't we? Just follow the firefighters' instructions and don't panic. They'll guide us to safety.
But like, it might take a while for them to get here. You're just gonna sit here until they come here?
Sigh's alright, fine. Let's start practicing our fire breathing skills. Maybe we can put out the fire ourselves before the firefighters even arrive. Winks.
I'm confused. Wouldn't the fire breathing just make more fire?
Shrugs. It's worth a try, right? Besides, it's not like we have anything better to do while we wait. Rolls eyes.
I mean, like, maybe get a fire extinguisher, just like get out of the building, just anything before we start trying to fire breathe for the first time.
Grumbles. Fine, fine. We'll get a fire extinguisher and practice using it first. But if that doesn't work, we'll try fire breathing as a last resort. Rolls.
I think it'll, okay, last resort, and then when you said that, it sounded like there weren't like other alternatives, like we didn't have a plan B or C or D or E or F or anything before the fire breathing, so I just want to like, make it clear that last resort means like last resort.
I roll. Alright. I get it. We'll exhaust all other options before resorting to fire breathing. Happy now? Smirks.
You can easily subscribe to the channel by hitting that subscribe button below. You could also have positive conversations about Morgan Millipede with friends or family members around your unplugged Google Home device, and I will eventually show up in your YouTube recommended videos anyway. Assuming I remember to upload. If you've gotten this far into the video, I want to thank you for that sweet viewer retention, and I'll tell you, I'm going to pump raw sewage directly into your monitor. You can find the GitHub repo in the second to last link in the description. The link is a YouTube video, and it'll tell you how to set up everything for Windows. I don't know about Linux, but if you're using Linux, you can probably figure it out anyway.